What's up, YouTube? Angry Jackalope here, Rob Ricks. And I am going to do something a little different for story time. Many of you know that I write. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a chapter of a new book that I'm working on, and I would love for you guys to tell me what you think. Okay, so killing isn't hard once you've done it enough times. Hell, nothing's really hard with enough practice. Remember how hard it was to ride a bike, learn to use a yo-yo, how hard it was to fix the brakes of my car. The more you do something, the better you get at it. The more you practice and perfect your craft, then the closer you are to becoming a master. I am a master at killing. I'm not only good at killing, but I would wager I'm probably one of the most proficient killers walking on the planet today. Here's the bad news. I hate killing. I absolutely abhor, loathe, and detest it. So then why do I do it? Because I'm good at it. I am a natural born killer, and it's my thing. I won't have to kill forever, though. Just until I find the one, the primary kill. The person whom I spent my whole entire life perfecting this skill. Over 26 years. I've killed over 7,500 people. My first was at 9 years old with a knife. It was sloppy and messy. Some were groups, but most of my kills are one-offs. That's a lot of blood spilt. I can almost see your faces as you read this. No, I'm no monster. I'm not a terrorist. I'm just a very, very good killer. I walk among you. You may see me every day and not even know what I'm capable of. Out of all the people I've killed, there has only been one who has even suspected what I was. And she stood out the most in my memory because she was so beautiful, smart, and the fact that she almost escaped, that was truly amazing. I was very happy to help her ascend. She wasn't my primary, though. I really wish she was, because her death was glorious, and I can only hope the primary kill will be a fraction of hers. Some might label me as a serial killer. While this may seem true on a superficial level, you'd be so far from the truth of it all. As you shall see, I am close to the primary kill now, and I think I may have found that person. It may be someone you know. It may be you. When I come for whomever it is, they will know why I am called the Redeemer. Chapter 1. The scene smelled of urine and hopelessness. The body lied slumped against a dilapidated dumpster, and the flies swarmed it like a drunken ballet of black blurs. The body had been there for at least a week, and the heat had a definite effect on it. "How the fuck did no one see this shit?" asked Detective Frankie Smith, my partner of 7 years. I shrugged. "I got no idea, but I'll tell you one thing." I pointed at the corpse. "You'd think a headless corpse would..." No, that's a little redundant. I have to change the corpse there. "You'd think a headless corpse would get someone's attention. Granted, it's in the alleyway, but it's a well-lit and very used one." That's awkward. "Granted, it's in the alleyway, but it's a well-lit one." Frankie glanced at his notepad. "Witness reported he came back here to take a piss, saw the body. He got freaked out and took off. Called it in on the way home via cell phone. We tracked it and got a full statement." I nodded and examined the body more. "This is pretty nuts. You see anything missing here?" Frankie nodded. "Yeah, no blood. No head and no blood." "What the fuck?" I smiled at him. "So Vic was killed somewhere else and dumped here?" We both considered it and instantly came up with the same conclusion. Fuck no. Too much exposure to drag a body down here. I don't give a fuck what time you try to dump it. There's way too much foot traffic. So that increases the risk. I nodded. "I agree. So, how did you get here?" I asked the body in front of me. I looked up and stared at the top of the building. I wonder if he was killed up there and dumped, and he just landed here like this. Frankie nodded. "Shit, let's go up and take a peek." "Lead the way, partner." We walked around to the front of the building, and it was old Victorian, not uncommon in this part of San Francisco. It was faded. It was a faded white building, weathered and worn. The front door was held open for us by a uniformed officer I had seen plenty of times. "Sup, Sam?" I asked as I passed through. "Same shit, different day, man." I nodded. "Yeah, maybe a little different today, my man. We'll see." He grinned a perfect set of teeth at me, and we continued on through a narrow hallway which smelled stale, and a faint echo of cheap, sweet-smelling perfume lingered slightly. We marched up 7 flights to the roof access, and when we walked through, we were immediately taken aback. There were elaborate patterns painted on the surface of the roof in blood, and it was obvious the man in the alleyway had indeed been slaughtered there. "What in the name of God did this?" asked Frankie. "Got me, partner. Got me. Let's get the geeks up here and start examining this. How did the uniforms miss this one on the initial look-through?" Frankie examined his notepad and scratched his head. "Damn. Dude, Sam was the officer to examine the scene. He did the initial door knocks." Sam was seasoned. This was not his first rodeo. He had done this hundreds of times before. I took out my radio. "Officer Richardson, please join us up on the roof." "On my way," he answered back. A minute later, he walked through the door, and his face paled as he surveyed the scene. "What the fuck?" "That's what we were going to ask you. This shit wasn't here earlier." "What?" "Man, I'm telling you, an hour ago this shit was not here." I looked at the scene, and blood marks all looked aged and brown. They had been there for a while. Probably done after the victim was killed. "You're seeing the same shit we're seeing, right, Sam?" asked Frankie with an irritated tone in his voice. "Man, I'm fucking telling you guys. I swear to God, this was not here. I even snapped pics of the area since I thought maybe the Vic was thrown from up here. When I got up here and saw..." See again, I got some redundancy there. "When I got up here and saw it was all clear, I snapped a few pics and then started canvassing the tenants to see if anyone saw or heard anything weird." "Let's see the pics," said Frankie, now with an impressed, curious tone. I nodded. Good thinking, snapping pics and working the scene. He pulled out the camera and showed us. To say he was methodical in his pictures was an understatement. He had at least 20 shots, and some shots from the roof down to the dumpster where the body was at. As he stated, there wasn't a drop anywhere. "Son of a bitch," Frankie said. "What the fuck?" I said. "Told you guys." Frankie and I nodded. "Yeah, this is not going to be a regular case," I said aloud. So this is a rough. I did this in one sitting just to get the flow going for this book. So this book is called The Redeemer, and as you can tell, it's kind of a crime, murder. You know, there's going to be some pretty weird things that are going to happen, but at the end of everything, it all will make sense. But this was a story I came up with, probably about 3 or 4 months ago, and I decided now I'm going to start writing little bits and pieces and introduce it to you guys and see what you guys fucking think. I'm going to do another one of these for the other book that I'm considering doing. So what I need you guys to help me with is kind of chime in and tell me if this is intriguing, if it's something that you would like me to flesh out and continue writing. I got about 35 different books that I'm working on right now. But what I'd like to do is start involving you guys in it to engage what has more of your guys' interest. I'd very much like to write and have stuff through you guys. And that way I give you guys content that you're actually interested in. Make sense? So I'm going to try to leverage YouTube to grow the audience and see what you guys are interested in. And as I start to push stuff out, if you guys, consume the content and like it, then that's fucking awesome. So that's it for this episode. So story time will actually have some stories mixed inside of it as well now. So you guys will be able to tell me, that's fucking awesome, it doesn't sound like something I'm interested in, whatever. I just kind of getting a gauge, because when I did Convergence 2012, I just wrote and did it, and I pushed it out, and maybe, I don't even know. I don't even remember now. I think I made a couple $100 off the Kindle and Nook sales and stuff like that. And I know I made probably a couple $100, no, $300 or $400 on the hardcover, or not the hardcover, but the signed print edition. So anyway, this is just more for me to get back into writing. I know some of the folks wanted me to finish doing the Convergence trilogy. They wanted me to do the secondary book and the third book, but you know what, guys? There's just not enough of you to really warrant it. It will get done at some point, but right now my mind is elsewhere. So I'm gonna think about, I might do Redeemer, and then I might do The Poet, and I might do Tattooed Souls, or Tatted Souls, I think is what that one's called. There's also Infernal Justice, Asian Vampire Khitan, Harbinger, and there's a few others I can't recall off the top of my head, but those are the ones that are kind of sitting on the forefront right now. So anyway, if you like it, please subscribe. Tell all your fucking friends. Until next time.